is titled, How Can I Solve It? So the subtitle is Factors and Rational Zeros. And the lesson target is to determine all the roots of polynomials with degree greater than 2. Okay? So we're going to be searching for roots of the polynomials. And Eli yesterday even said, well, where do they get this binomial? How do they figure it out? So we're going to see that today. And I kind of told him sort of how to do it. There's a little more to it. Oh, and I was going to show you guys why I like the CPM method of drawing the little boxes and such to do polynomial division. Because when I was in high school, this is the way we learned. This is called long division of polynomials. Yeah, so like when you did long division in like 4th and 5th grade with big numbers, right? This is with polynomials. Doesn't that look fun? Yeah, so I like their little box. They're what they call it, polydoku or whatever. All right. So that's what you avoided. All right. Question 106 says, by combining what you know about graphing, factoring, polynomial division, and solving quadratic equations in this lesson, you will be able to calculate the zeros of the higher deep degree polynomial functions. Your task is to determine all of the roots, or what we call the zeros, of the polynomial below, and then write the polynomial in factored form. All right, so the polynomial they're giving us is x to the 4th minus x to the 3rd minus 5x squared plus 3x plus 6. The first question is, how many factors will the function have? And what are some of the possible linear factors? Okay? So for the first question, how many factors will it have? 4. How did I get that? Right, the largest degree, because it's in standard form, right? So the largest exponent, the largest degree is 4. That's how many factors it's going to have. And then to get the possible factors, you're going to look at the constant term. What's the constant term for that polynomial? 6. Everybody see the 6 over here? That's our constant, right? It's our x to the 0 power. We want to list all the possible factors of that 6. Possible factors are plus and minus 1, plus and minus 2, plus and minus 3, plus and minus 6. I'm going to say that there are only 8 possible factors. Seems like a lot, but there are only 8 because the leading coefficient of this polynomial out in front of that x to the 4th, there's a 1. If there isn't a 1, makes it slightly more complicated, okay? But if your leading coefficient is 1, you simply look at the constant term, find all of its factors, okay? Part B says, how can the graph help us decide which factors to try, okay? So if you have access to a graphing calculator, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, you would graph this polynomial and you would find where it's crossing or bouncing off, or even if it flattens out, the x-axis, okay? So I was nice and I graphed this for you. And for just a second, I'm going to put the graph up here. This is the graph of that polynomial function. And on the x-axis, every time there was a point, I highlighted it so you could see what points where it's crossing the x-axis. So we have one here at negative 1.7320. We have a nice one here at negative 1, 0. We have one over here at 1.7320 and one at 2, 0. Okay? Which two should we focus on? The 1 and the 2, okay? Let's focus on those two, all right? But they were at these 4 points, okay, as the graph told us, okay? We're going to try these 2 points because they weren't our decimal ones. So we'll start with the 2 easier ones and use our polynomial division on them, okay? Now, if one of the intersection points is at -1, 0, the binomial that we're going to use is going to be what? X plus 1. Not x minus 1, x plus 1. Because you want it to be, you want the number that you plug in here to add with 1 to make 0, right? Okay. So if it's -1, we use x plus 1, right? Okay. So we're going to do our polynomial division with the x to the 4th minus x to the 3rd and so on. I'll go over how to do this first box, okay? So, what would you multiply x by to get x to the 4th? You would multiply by x to the 3rd. That gives you the box of x to the 4th. Once you have the x to the 3rd, you can also multiply by 1 to get x to the 3rd. We need our x to the 3rd term to be -1. So we actually need to combine it with a -2x to the 3rd. So what would we multiply x by to get that? We would multiply it by -2x to the 2nd. Okay? Once you have that term, you can multiply it by 1 to get -2x squared. We want a total of -5x squared, so we need -3x squared more, which means we'd multiply x times -3x to get that. Then we would multiply the -3x times 1 to get -3x. We want a total of +3x, so we need to add 6x. We would multiply x times 6 to get the 6x, and then 6 times 1 to get the 6. Are we going to have a remainder here? No remainder, because we ended up with the same number here and here. That's supposed to happen when you know that it's a root, right? We know that that one was going to work, right? So there shouldn't be a remainder. So if you get a remainder, go back and either check that this is correct or check that all this is correct. Like you went awry somewhere, okay? Awry, yes, okay? That actually narrows our polynomial down from this one to this one, which still has the same roots other than -1. So it should still have 2 as a root. So we're going to use x minus 2, and instead of writing this whole big long polygon, is that mine or somebody else's? That's not mine. Okay. And then write the new polynomial down here. Same thing. You should get no remainder, okay? And then that narrows our polynomial down to x squared minus 3. You don't have to write the 0x, but at that point it's a placeholder. And then here, this should be easy to solve. Add 3 to both sides, take the square root of both sides, and you get plus or minus the square root of 3. What do you think the square root of 3 is? Not totally random. It's plus and minus 1.732. That's the other 2 roots. So these other 2 roots, they're still real numbers. They're just fractions, right? But they're these repeating decimals. Desmos rounded them for us. But if you plugged the square root of 3 into a calculator, it would fill your whole screen. So we're rounding, okay? Our first 2 answers were real. They're both rational. The third one's real. It's just going to be this non-repeating decimal, okay? That was part D. What do you need to write? What do you need? What do we need to do to write the polynomial in factored form and calculate the zeros? Okay. So this was the binomial, which makes this the 0. This was the binomial, which makes that the 0. That was the polynomial, makes that the 0. Those two. There's two of them here because of the plus minus. Okay. Anybody still writing? Okay. Yes. It says, for parts A through C, use the process your team developed to factor a polynomial and determine all of its roots. Be sure to include a graph of each polynomial and clearly explain the relationship among the factors and roots of the polynomial and the x-intercepts of its graph. Okay? So they do want you to use a graphing calculator. And they do want you to also use polynomial factoring. Okay? So for A, you would go into Desmos graphing calculator, bless you, type in that polynomial, and then look at its graph. Okay? Its graph looks roughly like that. It actually went down a little bit farther, but they didn't give me enough space, so I just did a rough sketch. Okay? But with Desmos graphing calculator, you can take the pointer and hover over the spots where it's crossing that x-axis. Okay? It had a definite point here at 1, 0 and a definite point here at 5, 0. But it's doing something interesting right here at 1, 0. It flattens out. Flattening out means it's going to be what? Bouncing off means double root, so it'll be second power. That flattens out like it does right there means what? Triple root. Okay? So they're all real rational roots. So you can kind of like the ladies mentioned, start with x minus 1, or technically you could start with x minus 5. Get it down as small as you can, and then I ultimately got to this trinomial right here, which was easily factorable to another x minus 1 and an x minus 1. Okay. Pause it. All right, so question number 109 gives us a new polynomial, which is 6x to the 4th plus 7x to the 3rd minus 36x squared minus 7x plus 6. Question A says, what is different about this polynomial as it relates to the other polynomials in this lesson? It's going to have a leading coefficient other than 1. Okay? So we got a 6 out there. Right, that's so fun. Right? So part B says, how can you list all the possible linear factors of the polynomial? What about all of the possible roots? Write a complete list of all of the factors and all of the roots. It says, use the process your team developed and determine all of the roots. Okay? You're going to use a piece of scratch paper for the first one, and you're going to have each person in your group try a different possible root until one is found. So if there's 4 people in your group, have one person try positive 1, have one person try negative 1, have one person try positive 2, and one person try negative 2. See if they work. How do you know they work? You're not going to have a remainder. Okay? If someone in your group says, I found one that works, great. Everybody do that as the first one. If more than one works, great. Do that as the first and second one. You're down to an x squared, and then it should be easily factorable. If only one of them works, then have someone try positive 3, someone try negative 3, someone try positive 6, someone try negative 6. If that gets you down to your square, great. You're like done. Once you get down to x squared, then